Welcome to this new episode of BizJet TV, where we're going to be talking about the fatalities from US business aviation accidents so far in 2023, as the first half of the year has gone. We're going to be looking into that today. If you haven't got yourself a copy of The Quantum Economy, my new book that's just out, lots of information here about private jets, about owners that bought a private jet or started using private jets early on in their careers to build their business. That's what this is about. Lots of information here about the emerging economies, technologies and whatever, and the businesses to invest in, and why the private jet is going to get you there quicker than your competition and get the deal done. So that's the subject of the book, The Quantum Economy. So grab yourself a copy. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. So if you haven't subscribed to BizJet TV, do so, and let's get into the meat of today's episode. So 4 fatal US registered business jet accidents this year. 3 out of 4 were Part 91. One of them we covered early on this year. It was a crash that happened on the 2nd of January over Phenom 300 out of Provo, Utah. And that was interesting. 3 out of 4 people survived, which is quite a miracle. You can click on the link above to go and look at that video and see what happened. And it was icing, by the way, so I did get it right. The pilot failed to de-ice. Consequently, ice was formed on one wing more than the other, and that's why it flipped over like this after rotation and crashed. So that's what happened there. Then we have a situation where it wasn't exactly a crash, but a fatality of a Challenger 300. The pilot's use of an incorrect checklist to respond to one of the multiple ACAS messages preceded a sudden and fatal in-flight upset. One of the passengers wasn't properly secure in their seat, and they got bashed about the cabin and then hospitalized once they got on the ground and died in hospital, unfortunately. We have then an accident happened to a Lear 36A, crashed into the ocean off the coast of California on May the 10th. They put out a distress call just before they crashed into the ocean. Not quite sure what's happened there. So it's been investigated. Then we had a depressurization or other systems failure of a Cessna Citation, and 4 people perished in that. Obviously, there was a problem there with the pressurization, and the pilot didn't get the airplane down quick enough. Now, this is something that in the airlines you train a lot, and one of the airlines I worked for, we'd actually had a real depressurization happen. It didn't happen to me, it happened to one of my colleagues. And so the airline developed this training system, and we would, every 6 months, we went through this procedure as a crew, so as a 2-man crew, but also on your own in case the other pilot passed out. And we were encouraged at least once or twice a week when we were flying to say to ourselves, okay, let's say the pressurization goes now, what do I do? And sort of go over the motions of what we would do if suddenly the pressurization were to fail. This is a really, really important maneuver to do. The first thing the pilots need to do is put on the oxygen mask. That keeps them alive and awake, which is important. And then you need to start getting the airplane down, obviously seatbelt sign on, and get the airplane down quick. That's kind of what you need to do. And so you need to be thinking, if you're flying along, about this procedure, about where you would go. Would you descend straight ahead, left or right, what you're going to do, what the minimum sector altitude is below you, if you're over mountainous areas and stuff like that. So what altitude you're actually going to go down to. These are all things that, you need to train to do, and then you need to think about when you're flying. And unfortunately, in this case, the pilot wasn't thinking about that. Now, 5 accidents involving US registered turboprops took 17 lives in the first 6 months of this year. That's interesting. Again, 5 aeroplanes, mostly operated Part 91. Again, it's these people that have a pilot's license that aren't professional pilots that are crashing. Training tends to be one of the problems that needs to be addressed with these people. If we look at the 134 accidents and incidents that happened worldwide, 39 of them, which is 30% of them, were involving business jets and turboprops, were classified as runway excursions caused by a unstabilized approach. And now we're going to watch this video of an unstabilized approach, and I'll give you my commentary afterwards. So let's go and have a look at this one and see what happened.
Okay. Keep turn left now. Turn left, go to this red hill. Yes. Turn left, turn left in this side. This hill. Go down, you'll be high. Go down, get in, turn more.
Okay.
Go down now.
Yeah.
Little more.
Yeah.
Little more.
Little more.
Yeah, more, so that you can come little more, right? Okay, now turn right. Turn right.
Landing tickets, engines, engine, control, speed, brake, arm, landing.
Turn right, you see the runway?
See.
Turn right, turn right, turn right.
Yes, turn right. Side.
That way you will
Take after that,
opposite.
anything after that.
Okay. Good.
500.
Yeah, be careful. Don't worry.
Bank angle.
Bank angle check.
Bank angle.
Yeah.
Sink rate.
Come
Slow
slowly,
up.
right?
Slow
Speed
up. Sink rate. Sink
Power.
rate.
Bring it, careful. Good. Come little more.
50. 40.
Okay.
30. 20.
I told you, right? Last week.
So, I don't know what your thoughts are on that one, but that was very hairy. And you heard the computer tell the pilots, bank angle, bank angle. Now, that means the approach was unstable. So they should have done a go-around. Now, the pilots landed. They laughed. It was a hard landing. They laughed. That's scary, the fact that they laughed, instead of realizing that, they should have done a go-around. If I'd been on the jump seat, I would have had a serious conversation with these two pilots about what they just did. If I'd been in the back and this had been my private jet, I would have fired the pilots, because it's just not on. Now, doing a go-around is something that does happen sometimes. Pilots make mistakes. And as a pilot, if you make a mistake, you need to manage the mistake. And that's what a lot of the training is about, is managing mistakes. And if you're good at managing your mistakes, you won't have an incident or an accident. And that's really, really important. If you're the passenger in the back, or you're the owner of a private jet, I personally would just tell your pilots, look guys, if when we get the other end, you're coming on the approach, you end up coming high or fast, or the weather's a bit iffy and you're not feeling comfortable, just go around, keep us safe. I think that's an important conversation to have as a passenger with your private jet pilots, because 30% of these accidents and incidents were runway excursions, and they could have been avoided if the pilot had done a go around. And that's really, really an important lesson here to learn. Now, if you're thinking of learning to fly, because there are a lot of entrepreneurs these days, this is a trend, I talk about in the quantum economy, of people learning to fly and buying their own aircraft. And, you probably don't know how to go about the training and that. You can reach out to me and get on a coaching call and talk about, what your expectations are and what's the best form of training in that. That's certainly something we can do for you here. So I encourage you to reach out to me and see what we can do. Now, get yourself a copy of The Quantum Economy. Like and subscribe to the channel. Let's get the word out there about BizJet TV, about the private jet is a business tool, help you build your business even bigger and better. And that's really, really important. And check this video out we did about the crash of the Phenom 300. Happened at the beginning of the year. It was caused by icing. I can talk to you about that. You'll learn something interesting on that one. And that's all from Fabrizio Poli on BizJet TV. And I'll see you on the next one.